Today is Monday, the 27th July 2026, and it is a pleasant morning, and a warm welcome to your program, Good Morning Sagario, the program that always starts your day. I am Sheikh Usmail. Well, our quote of the day is from an unknown, and it says, "A constitution is not merely a document of laws, it is the foundation of justice, liberty, and good governance." I hope you got that. Coming up in this edition of the program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, CAL SL calls for swift completion of Sierra Leone's constitutional review process. High Court orders the Sierra Leone Bar Association to publish voters' register and release audited financial statement ahead of AGM. Also, in this edition of the program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, Quaker strengthens development partnership with Sierra Leone. President outlines vision, benefits, and future plans. All these and more lined up in this edition of the program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, reaching you live from our broadcasting house, New Englandville, in Freetown. You can be part of the program by sending your concerns to the numbers or the number you've seen on your screen. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from our broadcasting house, New Englandville, in Freetown. The program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from a broadcasting house, New Englandville, in Freetown. Well, let me just go over the quote of the day, which is from an unknown person, and it says, "A constitution is not merely a document of laws, it is the foundation of justice, liberty, and good governance." Well, this is Good Morning Sierra Leone. But let us start with the review of the country's constitution. You know, the 1991 constitution is facing challenges, and over the years, efforts are being made to ensure that we have a new constitution, or at least review some aspects of our constitution. Now, this process has taken the longest. I don't know, but I'm not sure there's been a process, a constitutional review process that has lasted that long or this long, as far as our bond is concerned. Well, that is something that is also debatable. But now, the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, CAL, is calling on the Parliament and the government to expedite the country's constitutional review process, describing it as vital step towards strengthening democracy, good governance, and the rule of law. Well, how is this process going? CAL is here to update us as to what this campaign is all about. But in a statement issued by CAL commended both Parliament and the government for progress made so far in reviewing the said 1991 Constitution. However, the organization stressed the need to conclude the process within a reasonable time frame to meet the aspirations of Sierra Leoneans for a more inclusive, modern, and democratic constitutional framework. Well, the Executive Director of CAL, Jeremy Simbo, is here to tell us more. Good morning, Mr. Simbo, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
I don't know, you people deal with constitutional matters. I don't know, there is a process, a constitutional review process that has taken that long, compared to us. I don't know, do you know of any?
As far as Sierra Leone is concerned, I don't think so. We have been on this process for almost 2 decades now. So for us, it has always been a very serious concern, and it remains a serious concern. Because for us to spend almost 2 decades just to review our constitution, that tells you how, how slow the entire process has been. But be it as it may, as you already stated in your intro, we want to say very many thanks to Parliament and the government of Sierra Leone for the process, for what they have done so far with respect to the review process. Because for Oscar as an institution, we have followed this process right from inception. We followed it right from the days of Justice Edmund Cowan of blessed memory. We are part of the 52,000 consultations that we have done across this country. An 80-man committee was established by the former president of Sierra Leone. That committee was headed by the late Justice Edmund Cowan. So at the end of the day, Justice Cowan, together with his team, traversed the length and breadth of this country. And 52,000 consultations were conducted. We are done. We are widely done. And that process for us was to a very large extent open and inclusive. So at the end of it all, they now presented a document, a report to the former president and his wife Roma. A 608-page document was presented to the former president and his Roma at that time. And in that report, we have 134 recommendations. Fast forward 2018, we saw a new administration. Before the advent of this new administration, several promises were made during the campaign that they will provide us a new constitution and a progressive one. You understand? Out of the 134 recommendations, when they now came in, they adopted 50, rejected 84. You understand? Come to think about it, accepted 50, rejected 84. And those recommendations, 134 recommendations, are views of Sierra Leoneans. So now, this process, for us, has been going on, but on a very slow pace. You understand? Okay. So now, last week we saw, a social media release coming from the Speaker of Parliament that the Constitutional Amendment Bill, which is now before Parliament, we just presented before Parliament. I think that last year or last year also, Parliament asked the Executive Committee to have a further review. You understand? With respect to that document, the Executive Committee ask the citizens of this country to at least submit position papers. That we did, including some of them.
No, probably it might be a conspiracy theory, but there is this, this notion that one of the reasons, or among reasons for the delays in amending this constitution or reviewing it, is that it benefits incumbents more. When people are in opposition, they are very much, that is where they see all the loopholes, the lacunas in the laws, Supreme Law, Apex Law, which is the Constitution. Once they're in power, it becomes a different ball game. So it seems as though, the willingness, which is very key, the political willingness to do it on will, it's not that comprehensive.
So that's more reason why we are saying, we are asking the politicians to detach party politics from this process. The political will is there. It is there. The political will is there. But the issue here is, we are seeing a lot of partisan positions. You rightly stated that when political parties are in opposition, they come out with they suggest the very best ideas. When the current government was in opposition, they say, oh no, this report is the very good one. In fact, we participated in almost all of the engagements, so it's good. So once you guys vote us into office, we'll definitely just deal with this one just like that. Now that they are there, we've taken God knows how long. So that's why we are saying, keep partisan politics away from this process. I like your what that you read before commencing this program. You understand the code that you read before commencing this program. The Constitution is the groundwork of the state. It's the mother of all the laws of this country. We want a progressive constitution, the people-centered constitution. We don't want a constitution that will be passed, you understand, just to protect a certain group of people or a certain political party. That's the type of constitution we are looking forward to seeing. We want a progressive constitution, for goodness sake. And also, come to think about it, President Bio will stand to be the first beneficiary of the new constitution. He will be in office in 2020, just after 2020 general elections. A new administration will be ushered in after 2020 general elections. Will not be there anymore. So we are calling on him to pay much more attention to this process. Because it's so key. When you make laws, when you are in a position of trust, when you are in authority, those will be the same laws who will use against you tomorrow, for example. Not to say that this is just to preempt anything, but I'm just advising. You understand? So for us as CSOs, we blow the whistle. We have engaged people. The people have spoken. We saw we know what we have in the TRC report. We saw we know what we have in the Justice Cowan report. The people have spoken. 52,000 consultations were conducted across the area. position papers have been submitted to Parliament. So that's the reason why we are now calling on Parliament to make sure that they pay much more attention to this process devoid of partisan politics. Let them keep party politics away from this process. Today you are an MP, tomorrow you will not be in Parliament.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. He is Jeremy Simbo. Jeremy is the Executive Director of CAP, Center for Accountability and Rule of Law. Well, the 2026 Basic Educational Certificate Examination is on the way. Otherwise, known as Becker is on the way. But then, the civil society movement, well, the focus is on education. That is the Civil Rights Coalition, and its Executive Director, Alfonso Manley, is one of those monitoring this in particular exam. And he's here with us in the studios. Good morning, Alfonso Manley, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Sheku. Thanks for having me.
So tell us, the Becker exam, or the Becker, the Becker is on the way. So far, what have you observed?
Hey, thank you very much. All of us know that the Becker is a local examination to transition from junior secondary school to senior secondary school. Now, the conduct of this examination, the government is paying examination fees for all government and government-assisted schools. The examination is being conducted by WAEC. In terms of the monitoring of the examination, of course, CPSS, the ministry, and WAEC and other stakeholders, especially those former principals, continue to monitor the exam. The exam started well. There are issues of overcrowding in some centers, because due to the last examination, some centers were closed because of exam malpractice and the like. So in this examination, we have some crowded centers, especially here in Freetown, which we believe will factor in our report. Another issue that came up that I wrote to the CEO during this examination is the issue of the military officers. What are their responsibilities? But in the reply of the CEO, when I asked him to clarify the roles of military officers, he said their role basically is to accompany the question papers into the hall, and after the examination ensure those question papers find their way back to WAEC. But in any case, if there is a need for the military officers, for any other actions, whether you want them to assist supervisors, maybe detected some issue of malpractice, the military can come in. But what they did on a particular day, when we have several complaints, even from my colleagues sitting here, they went into the examination rooms. That creates some panic, and that's not.
The military.
Yes. But that has been sorted out. We want to thank this.
But any reports on, for example, examination misconduct, but anything like that.
So when you are given the task to monitor exam, you write report and submit to the Ministry of Basic Education. After the exam, they will examine all of those reports. They will sit again, and it's not for you to come to the media after any paper.
No, but then you've been you've been a whistleblower. You've been a whistleblower. The thing is that you've been very proactive instead of being reactive. There are certain things that, for example, you are championing a cause now. Yeah, you don't wait until things get worse. Probably things get out of hand. The thing is that the examination is going on. If probably you mooted anything, you've seen anything that's being quite jeopardized. The successful outcome of that examination, you must say.
Yeah, so what during the examination there are issues, we call at the ministry, we have that mandate, we call WAEC for it to be resolved. But at the same time, we don't want to create fear or panic in the minds of these kids writing the examination. There are procedures, we are well trained. When there are issues, like for instance the military officer, I never came to the media before. I wrote to the CEO, on the same day he replied, the issue was addressed. There was another center, the paper came late during the call at work. They came on the paper. So these are issues we go back and forth.
So far, are you suggesting that what you've seen so far, what we've observed, is not yet for public consumption? Is that what you're saying?
We are saying during the conduct of examination, whatever you notice, you are at the liberty to call at the ministry if you know they can solve the problem without coming to the media. If there are issues of work,
if it is not solved within the period,
we put it in our reports, and in some cases we bring it to the notice.
So what is your general assessment of the exam so far?
The general assessment of the exam so far is going on well. There are issues of overcrowding, but shortage of examination, people have no experience it. There are issues of supervisor. In each and every school there are supervisors. We have police officers, we have other ministry staff and WAEC staff. It's going on well. But I told you the issue they raised, including most of the supervisors, was the issue of the military, and that has been addressed.
Okay, that has been addressed.
Yes, by the chief education officer who wrote to us the same day we sent him a letter. He replied us to clarify the roles of the military.
Alright, okay, thank you so much, Alfonso. I'll come back to you because I have a lot to talk about this morning. You know, the Beke exam, you also talk about because there's no way you can leave this place without talking about this review process. You know, constitutional review is a civil right, so you must have to have your voice to it. That is just what it is. Yes. But now quickly, let us just go over to what has to do with you know, how alumni operate across the world. People who have benefited from scholarships, how much they pay back, how much they come back and contribute to their country. Which is why the Korea International Cooperation Agency, widely known as KOICA, continues to play a significant role in supporting Sierra Leone's development agenda through grants aid and technical cooperation. As the Republic of Korea's principal agency for vision development, KOICA partners with government and local aid institutions to implement projects aimed at improving healthcare, education, agriculture, and rural livelihood. In the studios to further this discussion on the benefits, achievements, and activities planned for the future is the president of KOICA Alumni Association Sierra Leone Chapter, Haja Abi Elizabeth Kamara. Good morning, Madam Kamara, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners.
So KOICA, you know, this is an alumni association in Sierra Leone, and it is, according to what I've read there so far, I mean, alumni of civil servants, public servants who benefited from a same program with, you know, with Korea, and then especially the postgraduates programs. Now tell us, just give us a brief history to this association. How far it has been in existence, and what have you done so far?
Thank you very much, Mr. Sumaila. So, as you said from your intro, the KOICA Alumni Association of Sierra Leone was established in 2025. So in 2022, we signed a memorandum, that's the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, signed a memorandum of understanding with KOICA, International Cooperation Agency, with the head office at Congress in Nigeria. So through that memorandum of understanding, we're able to benefit from master's degree programs in various fields and also country-specific capacity building programs. So by 2025, we had 20 members who had returned from Korea, 5 from the master's degree program, and 15 from the short-term capacity building program in diplomatic issues. So those 20 members came together and we formed the Alumni Association, the KOICA Alumni Association of Sierra Leone. And the association has grown to date. Every year we have a cohort of public servants because this the capacity building support is provided mainly for public servants. So every year we send in, depending on the number of applicants are able to go through the master's degree program successfully. Every year we are sending numbers that go in. We started with 5, we had 3 for the last couple of years. And for the diplomatic training, we now have a total of 75 diplomatic and digital skills training. We have a total of 75 that have benefited from KOICA funding. We have studied in various Korean universities.
Well, how do you provide, let's say for example, mentorship for would-be alumni? Because for example, I know this scholarship is not a one-off. You know, this is a scheme that's in place, you know, that is going to last for a period. Do you kind of, for example, somebody had just got, you know, scholarship to pursue further studies in Korea. Do you guide those people before they leave the shores of this country?
Definitely we do that, and it's one of the key activities that we undertake. So we do, for when we have the applicants that are nominated by MDs, we do call them together for orientation. And not just the orientation program, we guide them through the documentation. For the two sets of application, we do the scholarship application, which is for COICA, that forms the scholarship programs, and then the various universities, they have their application forms. So we guide them through filling all those application forms, both for the scholarship, the COICA scholarship, and universities. Just on Saturday, we had a program where we had an orientation session. For this year, we have 53 that have applied from various MDs for the 2027 session. So we had this orientation session where we really guided them on the most effective way to be able to be successful, because the program is very competitive. The scholarship is very competitive. You're competing with 70 other countries. So you have to make sure you give your best. Your first criteria is a public servant. You have the requisite academic qualification. That's why we send into ministries. We do ask them to nominate their top-notch officials, so that they'll be in a position to compete with other countries, with other applicants from other countries. So we are doing that all around. Every year we've been doing that, and we in the process now for these 53. They've gone through the initial screening, and so now we're taking them forward again with the university applications. That's something that we committed to doing as an alumni association, helping others to really be successful in the master's degree application processes.
Now, apart from education, let us talk about healthcare. What's the involvement of COICA in healthcare?
So I'm talking more about the alumni. But they do have, but COICA do have programs that they can.
What I'm saying, as an alumnus, I know that certain projects being implemented in Israel. Even though you're not probably 100% involved,
yes,
it must be to your notice.
Yes.
You must be in the know.
Yes.
So
COICA do have programs in health. They do have programs in agriculture. They support the college school. They have a program. They provide support to tier fund. So they have those programs that they do. That's outside of the MOU that we have with them, but we are aware that they do support that. And through the training program, as I said, 5 officials from the Ministry of Health have benefited from the master's degree program, which is quite significant. We have them now performing various roles in key areas in the Ministry of Health, from which really the impact is quite substantial.
But now let us talk about the scheme itself. Does it only benefit public and civil servants?
Yes, because that's what we have in the memorandum of understanding. The private sector, no, So you have to be the first class. You have to be a public servant, civil.
But then, what if a Sierra Leonean, a private citizen, goes through a process in Korea, for example, and the person returns? Is that person eligible to be part of the alumni?
Well, not for all Korea sponsored programs, because there are other programs that are sponsored through other Korean agencies. We focusing on those sponsored by COICA, the Cooperation Agency of Korea. Those are the ones. That's why we call it COICA Alumni Association.
And so therefore, what particular scheme is reserved for public and civil servants?
Yes, for now. For now, it's for public and public servants, which is inclusive of civil servants. But there are the scholarships are also available to other Korean agencies, not just COICA. And some Sierra Leoneans are benefiting from that. Even in my ministry, there is somebody who just sits on, but not from a COICA funded scholarship program, but another Korean agency that's funded that training program. They are not members of the COICA Alumni Association. The Alumni Association really is for those who benefited from COICA funding.
So as it stands now, what really do you want the public to know about COICA Alumni?
Want the public to know that we exist, that as committed public servants, who benefited from the Quaker scholarship, we are committed to giving back to society. And that's why one activity that we're planning is the health and awareness season. We want to support the Ministry of Health 300 days of activism. So we raise awareness, we provide information to the community on ways to better prevent maternal and infant mortality.
All right, okay, thank you so much. She is the president of the Quaker Alumni Association, Sierra Leone chapter, Haja Abi Elizabeth Amara. And then Quaker is the Korea International Cooperation Agency. They provide scholarship for public servants and to pursue postgraduate studies. And she is one of the she is an alumnus of the Quaker sponsored program. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you later in the program. And the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. Well, I still have Alfonso Manley, who is Executive Director, the Civil Rights Coalition. Now, Alfonso, Carl has provoked an issue, and Carl is a whistleblower, just like yourself. Tell us, what's your view on the review of the country's 1991 constitution? Quickly, come back to raising your ear. I know.
It has taken so long, I agree with him. Those, after the former government set up an 80-man committee, we participated in all of those discussions nationwide. I participated. In fact, in that committee, Madam Valnora represented CSO in that 80-man committee. They had this recommendation, and so I believe it's time Parliament, the government, put more effort to ensure we bring it into logical conclusion, which has taken too long, this process of reviewing the country.
But what do you think it has taken that long, for this review? Because if you look at our constitution, you see clauses, conflicting clauses, chapters, conflicting chapters, clauses. You read a particular clause, a particular chapter, and section, you go further, you see something contradicting what you just read. So, like somebody once said that our constitution is one of the most confused constitutions in the world. What do you think?
Well, this is what we want to put an end to by having a new constitution. And we must do it with an open mind, devoid of our political party interest. An open mind. So then we'll have a constitution of the people.
But do you think lack of political will has been hugely or largely responsible for the delay in this review process?
I will not say lack of political will. I will say it's because of vested.
I'm not talking about this government, successive governments.
No, it's not the lack of political will. It's because of vested interest. Yes, it's not lack of political will. President Omar did very well when it comes to this.
But the thing is that this
President Bill is also doing very well when it comes to
But the thing is that, Alfonso, when it comes to this particular constitution, it benefits the incumbents more.
You cannot say that.
This particular constitution?
No, you cannot say that. This is why we have a very transparent process. This is why when the first reading was done, organizations were asked to tender to Parliament their views. In all of this, we should also have legislative hearing, and I attended one, when the AG was there. So if we have a bad law, it means we the citizens, we do not participate. We allow Parliament to do the wrong thing. We can hold our Parliament here and responsible because we voted them in to represent us. So I don't think we can have a bad law.
Okay, now, do you think the process as it is right now, it's happening it is expeditious? This is a process that has taken over 2 decades.
It's moving on.
So the manner in which it is going now, do you think it is that expeditious?
It's moving on a snail pace, and this is why CAR is raising concern, and this is why we support the concern being raised by CAR. Speed up this process, devoid of politics. Let's have a new constitution. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much. He's Alfonso Manley, the Executive Director. The Civil Rights Coalition. Now it's time for you to know the things that we must do and the things that we mustn't do to ensure that we are always healthy, which is why in every edition we bring you health tips. And in today's health tips, we take a look at heart transplants. Heart transplant Heart transplants can be life-saving for people with advanced heart failure. See who qualifies and how life looks after surgery. Let's watch.
A heart transplant is a major surgery that replaces a damaged heart with one from an organ donor. It's probably not a surgery you've heard of often. Fewer than 10,000 people get a heart transplant each year. It's considered a last resort treatment for people with end-stage heart conditions. Candidates for a heart transplant are added to a waiting list. The more urgently you need a heart, the higher you'll be on the list. When a match is found, you'll be scheduled for surgery. During the procedure, you'll be placed under general anesthesia and connected to a ventilator and a heart-lung machine. They'll pump blood through your body and keep you breathing during the operation. Your surgeon will open your chest and remove your heart. They'll very carefully place the donor heart in your chest and connect it to your blood vessels. It's a delicate procedure and usually takes at least 4 to 6 hours. After heart transplant surgery, you'll stay in the hospital for a week or 2 to be monitored while you recover. And you'll take immunosuppressant medications every day to keep your immune system from rejecting your new heart. Cardiac rehab and regular follow-up care after surgery are important. They'll help you regain your strength and manage complications. With the right care and support, heart transplant recipients often return to active, fulfilling lives. About half of all people who receive a heart transplant live more than 10 years after the procedure. Some can thrive for 20 or even 30 years after surgery. If you or a loved one is facing advanced heart failure, ask a healthcare provider if a transplant might be right for you.
We are back, and the program you are still watching is Good Morning. It's Leone live from Broadcasting House. You will hear Freetown. I still have Alfonso Mandy, the executive director. The civil exploration. Well, then I come back to Simbo. You know, Jeremy, the executive director, Center for Accountability and Rule of Law. Tell us, let us talk about this review process. Now the instruments are in Parliament, and then there's now this good news that it is very likely that very soon we'll start seeing new things in our constitution. But there are certain constitutional amendments that actually need, entrenched clauses. They need public approval, not by way of referendum. So, do you see this process ending very soon? Or is still another marathon process that will take probably other years like it has happened before?
That's the hope. That's the more reason why we are calling on the government of Australia and Parliament to at least expedite this process, because it has taken so long. 2 decades now, almost 20 years down the line, we're still struggling to conclude on this review process. So for us, it's really going on at its next rate. So that's why we're calling on them, and they need to expedite this process and to make it very inclusive. It should be people-centered constitutional process. Let them carry the people along. Let them carry us along. We are very much happy that the Speaker, has been consistently making reference to the position papers that were submitted to Parliament. The legislative committee from individuals and institutions, including ours. So for us, we say yes, that's good news. You understand? And the process will be in Parliament tomorrow again, where the Speaker, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice is expected to be in Parliament tomorrow, but at least continue on the second and third readings as the case may be. So what we're saying here is we want the government of Australia and Parliament to expedite this process and to be people-centered. You understand? There have been issues coming around, with respect to when the bill was first read in Parliament, for which it was later on sent to the legislative committee. It has to do, for example, the PR system. That's one serious issue with respect to the constitutional amendment bill. Then also, for example, again, the one that has to do with the one that has to do with how you should get rid of the vice president. You understand? It's also another serious issue. the one that has to do with the fixed election rate. Those are all the issues. So for us, we know that there is a political will. But the issue that we keep seeing, you understand, in this review process is a situation where people have vested interest. So as long as the vested interest now supersedes, you understand, that of the political will, it becomes a serious issue and it's a concern to us. So as a civil society organization, we call it on the government of Australia, including Parliament.
But this vested interest, it seems very broad in a way. Let us zero it to certain interest groups, because when it comes to constitutional reviews, there are interest groups. For example, CAR may be an interest group, Civil Rights Coalition. But let us see, actually, is it that people want things to be packed on to the constitution that will probably, protect their own interest, or probably they just want it to remain as it is?
The vested interest I speak here with respect to the politicians.
Okay.
It's like they're coming from the politicians and not the people. The people have spoken. I keep referring to the Kawa report. I keep referring to the TRC report. If you read those two reports, you come to realize that all of what we have in the Kawa report, you understand, similar, including most of the ones that we have that came out from the tripartite committee, but I don't really want to mention with respect to that report.
But the same Kawa report, the 8-man committee, I know that they traveled not only in Sierra Leone, they went to other countries, and they made the compared notes, and they came back, recommendations were made, and a good number of those recommendations were rejected.
Sure.
Yes. So now, what assurance do we have that this time around there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel?
So that's why we are doing what we are doing here. That's why SFBC for providing a platform for us. We have already presented a statement, a position paper, you understand, to the people of this country and to the government of Sierra Leone, that we want a people-centered constitution.
All right.
We want a progressive constitution.
All right.
We're not just yearning for a constitution. We want a people-centered and a progressive constitution. That's what we're looking forward to seeing.
All right. Thank you so much. And here is Jeremy Simbo. Jeremy is the Executive Director, Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, CAR. Now, the High Court has ordered the Sierra Leone Bar Association to publish a complete list of paid-up members eligible to vote at the forthcoming annual general meeting. The court further directed the association to make available to its members audited financial statements covering the past 2 years, reinforcing the principles of transparency and accountability in administration of the Bar Association. The coordinator Civil Rights Coalition, Alphonse Mandy, is helping us in the studios to discuss more on the implications. Now tell us, Alfonso, this particular thing, this is the High Court order. The High Court has given this order. But then, what if the Bar Association decides, to take it further to the Supreme Court to challenge this High Court or Appeals Court to challenge this High Court decision?
Firstly, as an institution, the Civil Rights Coalition welcomes the court order. Before now, we've stated it clearly to say if an election should be free, fair and transparent, phases of elections, we must ensure that things are done thoroughly. Now, if you are to vote or to be voted for, you should be aware before the day of the election about your status. We said it, we advised the executive. They never listen to us. The matter went to court, and the court is now saying, display the list. There is a date for that. It's the 29th or so. Display the list. So people will know their status before they go to vote. So we reduce tension during the elections. Also the audited financial statement. So in this, you'll be able to know that on this date, the cut-off date you stated for payment, these are the members that paid. So that should be done by the 30th.
That date is supposed to be in May, right? It is in May.
The cut-off date was in May 29.
Yeah.
Because the election was stated for June 5 and 6.
So others, in the bar, legal practitioners in this country are arguing, but that particular date could, I mean, disenfranchise a good number of them, especially those who went after about me. You know, they are with this concern, but there's a possibility of disenfranchisement.
You know, Sheku, the bar is sharply divided. This is why we came in. After the Kenema election, the bar association is sharply divided. You don't need a rocket science to know that. Now, this is why the public is saying we want somebody who can come to unite them, bring them together, have a one bar association, but at the same time you can have other associations for lawyers, as you have the Lawyer Society. And this is why when I was in the radio this morning, I pleaded with state institution, allowed Lawyer Society to register. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. You have sludge. You also have
they do have a
in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Ghana, you have other lawyers association, but they have one bar association.
Okay.
So after that Kenema election, this current executive failed to unite their colleagues, failed to bring them together. So we still have a divided bar. So we are saying for these elections, to be credible and all inclusive. This is why last year we advocated, since you have shifted the date for election, also shift the date for registration, but they said no, and the court has agreed to that. So what we are now saying, display this list so we know, provide the audited financial statement, but also the court have said the election should be conducted in accordance with their M&A. So we do hope they will stick to their M&A, because they have conducted several elections with this very M&A. So we hope they will stick to those clauses in the M&A to conduct free, fair, and transparent elections.
But do you really think the guys on the Unity platform, are really happy with this decision by the High Court? Because they were saying, but remember there was this argument around, going to the secretariats to register to pay, and the treasurer is not around, and all of that, it became very chaotic. And probably what happened after the deadline. So, in other words, there are a good number of people of legal minds who are not going to vote.
Firstly, there are sets of lawyers who have made it very clear that they will not take part in the election because they do not recognize this current executive. Yesterday, on a sister program, I listened to them again. They reiterated their position to say we are not going to take part. We do not want to legitimize this current executive. We do not recognize them. And they are saying that anything concerning this election in Kenya should be erased in the history of the Bar Association. It's like that nothing happens. So whatever. When you want to create a change, what happens?
You must be part of the change. Yes. You cannot be outside. Now, not taking part in this AGM, what does that mean? It does mean that Tuma Jabi is going to continue as president of the bar.
You cannot say that. Okay. You cannot say that. So you wait after the elections. What we did was to convince them, but not the entire Lawyer Society, not all of them, because in their press there is also a clause that says if you convince, you think you want to, you can take part. So they did not say outrightly to say don't take part in the election as a Lawyer Society member. They did not, but they still hold on to the view that this executive is illegitimate and they will not lend credence by taking part in the elections.
But don't you think apathy is not the answer to this? Because if you decide to stay alone, others go and vote, democracy is a number game. One of the deficiencies in democracy is that the majority is not always correct. You have a quantitative majority but no quality. So the majority is not always correct, but democracy is a number game. So don't you think supporters of Tuma Jabi will participate fully, and at the end of the day they will emerge as the victors?
So the catch is, before now, when the election was postponed by this current executive, the current president said she has rented a venue in Port Loko, and that venue could not contain members of the bar association. When you look at the list of those who have registered, that tells you they have taken her unawares that a lot of lawyers have registered. She rented the hall for just 500. It's over 500. That tells you other lawyers have registered. But we are appealing to bring them together to say, look, Lawyer Society, this is the time you can make the change you want. But they said they cannot lend credence to this election. I will respect them for that, I will respect their views.
So
but
do we expect a boycott? A boycott from the Unity platform?
I do not understand what is the boycott and the Unity platform.
The Unity platform is the Egbenda's Egbenda is preaching unity, right? That is why which is why I've coined that phrase, Unity platform. You understand? That is Egbenda.
So who are the people you are saying who boycott the elections?
What I'm saying, if you are saying that there are some who are not interested, who are not going to take part,
and that has been the case
ever since. But yet they want unity.
No, this is why you are missing the point. Madam Martina is campaigning on the platform to rebuild the bar, build a better bar. Unity. On the side of Lawyer Society, they are saying that this current executive, they do not recognize them. So they cannot take part, they do not believe in their leadership because they never won the election fairly, transparently. That's their point, so it's different. It's two different points.
It will also surprise you to know or to note that there are members of the Lawyer Society who have registered to vote in this AGM.
I said it just now.
Okay.
I said the president rented the hall for below 500 people, and when she checked, they have registered above 500. That tells you that other lawyers have registered.
Right. Okay. So, do you expect a successful AGM?
I expect a successful AGM. I expect them to go by the court orders. Anything below that, I think their colleague will challenge it in competent courts.
Alright. Okay, thank you so much. He is Alfonso Manley. Alfonso is executive director of Civil Rights Coalition. Thank you so much, and continue to stay with us. And the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television and through our social media handles. Now, we still have Haja Abi Elizabeth Amaram. She is the president of Quaker Alumni in Sierra Leone. Now, this visibility you are giving to Quaker, let us know when you meet, as alumni, what normally do you discuss?
Thank you very much, Mr. Subala. When we meet as an alumni, we discuss issues relating to the alumni, governance issues, how we can better serve our members, how we can impact the knowledge gained throughout the public service, and so on and so forth. If I could just quickly go beyond that to say, currently we undertaking or planning to undertake a couple of activities.
Okay.
Drawing from last year, where we have a capstone project where we do training, but that training has been focused on digital skills. So we did one last year. This year we're doing two. We done the one already on Saturday at the new Brookfield Hotel, which is focused on the skills needed for today's world, digital skills needed for today's workforce. And it brought together 60 participants from across MDs. And we'll continue with that.
Are they all alumni of Quaker?
No, those are
yes,
those really. So we drawing from the experience of our members, those who benefited from the training program, to pass on the knowledge to especially our mid-level officers in the public service. So we focusing on digital skills that are necessary for today's workplace, but that's where the world goes. And so we had 60 members, and we continue with those 60 members on Wednesday 29 at the same Brookfield Hotel. We want to go beyond just the digital skills now to see how we cover larger areas, including the productive use of artificial intelligence want to see how even our reporting in the workplace, how we can digitize that and make that better. So we're doing those activities. And then in October we have our annual gathering, and you ask what do you discuss. So we now take what we've done through the year, we go to the members gathering, which is like the AGM you discuss it.
So how many of you, what is the numerical strength of this alumni? How many of you?
We are now 90.
90?
Yeah, we are now 90. We have 14 that have benefited from the master's program.
You mean including those who have retired from the civil service?
Yes. When once you're a member, even if you're retired. If you have the opportunity, the chance to participate in our programs, we do extend invitations to them.
Okay.
So we now have 90 of those. And as I said, we also do we're planning the health work to leverage the ministries of health, 200 days of activities, and also to say the capstone projects. You did say Quaker supports other initiatives, so they're supporting child fund projects, school that support the college school. And so next year we've been requested to include child fund beneficiaries into our capstone training program. So we look forward to really expanding to see how we bring in other beneficiaries of Quaker funding in Sierra Leone.
All right, okay, thank you so much. And she is Haja Abi Elizabeth Amara, President of the Quaker Alumni Association Sierra Leone. And the program you are still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone. I just go through the headlines quickly. And I'll start with the awareness times. Awareness time says AGP directs local commanders to intensify patrols during strategic planning workshop. Attorney General swings open the debate on FGM. Heshimada Bill pays tributes to Reverend Prophetess Margaret Nabi Gorando. That is for the awareness time to newspaper. Well, from there I move on to the satellite. The satellite says, as shortening for victory 2028 election, APC must go with Jerry Koko. Here you can see the photo of Jerry Koko. Delegates assert President Bio host mining CEOs. That is for the satellite newspaper. From the satellite, I move on to the exclusive newspaper, which says DIB sweeps clean. As with government waiting, we must show discipline and maturity expected of a credible alternative to national leadership. Dr. Ibrahim Babura, please. From there, I move on to, this is the exclusive newspaper. From the exclusive, I move on to the Voice of Salone. Voice of Salone says Fatima Bio's hopes for President Bio's second ECOWAS chairmanship dashed as bloc select new leadership. Also in the Voice of Salone newspaper, Foreign Affairs Ministry confirms U.S. suspension of routine visa processing in Sierra Leone. That is for the Voice of Salone newspaper. Well, there are many other headlines, but then if you go and grab your own copies, you will get, in-depth information on what the papers are carrying today. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone. I still have Alfonso Manley, the executive director of Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Jerry Singo from Carl, and Fatima Haja from Quaker Alumni. Now, quickly, gentlemen and lady, tell us, Singo, you want an expeditious process, but then how much do you lobby Parliament to ensure this is done?
We presented a vision to Parliament. I've been in constant communication with the Legislative Committee Chairperson, including all the members of Parliament as well. You understand, we are also in touch with the AG's office, and that's why we are now bringing this to the attention of the public. We also want the public to follow the process as it commences tomorrow in Parliament. Let the public follow through.
Somebody was just saying, but it seems as though Carl has become a voice. They have become a major whistleblower in the country.
Carl has always been
a few days ago, you blew a whistle. A whistle was blown on Nassit, and action was taken against Nassit. So somebody are now say, hey, Carl not talk about me.
Well, that's the more reason why we exist as an institution, and I think we have been in existence because of that, and we continue that regard. We are a civil society organization, that pays much more attention to good governance, transparency, accountability, right, and the rule of law. You understand? So we're here again calling on the government of Australia and Parliament to at least expedite the constitutional process and to give us a progressive constitution. At the end of the day, when once Parliament concludes on the voting of this process, it may wind up in the referendum. So if the views of the people are not accepted or voted in Parliament, then I think we need to call on the public not to accept, not to vote for it. So.
All right, okay, thank you so much. He is Jeremy Simbo, Executive Director of Center for Accountability and Rule of Law. Now, Alfonso, going forward, what do you expect of the bar?
Well,
because, like for example, only a few days ago, the 31st of July and the 1st of August, that is the bar. The first day and AGM and the second day election also. So tell us, what do you expect of them as we speak right now?
To go according to the High Court orders to ensure they conduct the election to be free, fair, transparent, and credible. That's all what we want.
If anything falls short of that, what do you do?
They have their membership. As they went to the court, they can do the same.
All right. Thank you so much. And here's Alfonso Mandi, Executive Director of Civil Rights Coalition. Now, Haja Kabara, President of the Quaker Alumni. Quickly tell us, what really did you expect the public to know about Quaker going forward?
Thank you. Please, as public servants, know that the Alumni Association is there to serve you, to pass on the skills that beneficiaries of Quaker for their programs have gotten, and also appealing to those who are now benefiting from our capstone programs, also cascade the training programs when they go back to their various MDs, because the essence of all this collaboration is really to build the capacity of the public service and also to strengthen the ties, the cultural ties between Quaker, Korea and the Republic of Sierra Leone through these various programs. So we look forward to receiving back the 60 participants that we had on Saturday to Wednesday's training program, a continuation, a more advanced digital skills at the New Brookfields Hotel.
All right, thank you so much. And she is Haja B. Kamara, President of Quaker Alumni. Quaker is a Korean international agency. People who benefited from the scholarship are the ones talking to you now. Madam Kamara is one of those who have benefited from the Quaker scholarship, and they have an alumni inside. She came here to update us on what they've been doing for the years and what they have been doing. Alfonso Manley, Jeremy Simbo, thank you, all of you, for being here this morning. And that is how we say goodbye. It has been good morning, Sierra Leone, which came to you live from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. With thanks to the entire production team, especially producer Joseph Stanley. I am Sheku Spella saying goodbye and have a splendid day.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruits and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.